This is it, my friend. You are taking a milestone step, flying into China and meeting with your Chinese suppliers for real. I commend you for your courage, for taking this action and make it happen. In this video, I'm going to share my tips on how to arrange the meetings with your Chinese suppliers. If you're brand new to the channel, have not watched the part 1 and 2 of the supplier visit planning videos, go back and watch those 2 episodes first. At the same time, I welcome you to join this amazing community. My name is Yuping Wang. This is the place to be if you wanted to learn the best sourcing knowledge. After a long flight, finally you arrived in China safely. I bet you are exhausted but super excited at the same time. Let's get the meeting started. When I visit the Chinese suppliers, normally the visit takes half a day. Let me walk you through the steps. The step number 1 is to get to the Chinese supplier factory, depending on where you are staying. Remember in the last video, we talked about to plan your hotel, you should know exactly where is the airport and where is the supplier factory. When you are planning your hotel, you should have asked your supplier approximately how long does it take when they pick you up. So a lot of the suppliers' factory are in the surrounding cities. For example, if you're visiting Guangdong province and you're staying in Guangzhou, the city, your supplier factory may be 1 hour to 2 hours away from Guangzhou. In China, it's a common courtesy for the suppliers to pick you up from the hotel. If you're an important customer to this supplier, the big boss is going to drive a fancy car to pick you up in person. If you're new to them or they don't know your potential to their business, they may arrange a car to pick you up. Regardless, you're not going to pay a taxi and go there on your own. So don't feel hesitant to ask your sales contact to arrange a pickup driver to pick you up from the hotel to their factory. Now, you want your meeting to start before 10 o'clock in the morning. Depending on where your supplier factory is, if the supplier is 1.5 hours away from your hotel, make sure you ask the pickup time to be around 8:30 in the morning. That's how you start the day, and that's the step number 1 to get to the supplier factory. After a long car ride, you will arrive to the Chinese factory location, and that's when you move on to the step number 2 to conduct the actual meeting, and the step number 3 is the factory tour. I'm gonna give you some details on each step, but first, when you arrive to the Chinese factory, take a look at your watch, the time. If you had some traffic coming to the factory and it's getting close to 11 o'clock in the morning, I would suggest you to ask your supplier to do the factory tour first, because a lot of Chinese factories by 11:30 they're going to take a long lunch break, and it is a long lunch break. So you wanted to see the factory that has activity taking place, you know, people making products and producing parts. So you don't want it to look at a factory that is so quiet and nobody's there. Assuming you arrived on time before 10 o'clock, after the wow moment of seeing your supplier factory in your own eyes, you settle in their meeting room and start the welcome formality and the business discussions. During the exchange of the welcomes, that's when your business card is needed. Remember in the last video we talked about you need to prepare the business card. You need to give your business card and to get as many business cards back as possible. Their quality person, their engineers, and their big boss. The more contacts you have with this factory, the more ways and channels you can reach to this factory to resolve issues, especially when you're a single point of contact. The salesperson cannot work with you smoothly. The discussion of the meeting is based on your agenda. In the last video, I give you some ideas for the meeting agenda. If you're new to the supplier, you can discuss the new product development ideas, brainstorming customization ideas. If you have existing business with the supplier, you can address like some of the quality issues or take this opportunity to discuss better price for your product. During the meeting, keep track of the time. You don't have to rush to finish what you are discussing, but you need to let your supplier know that you would like to take a factory tour during the production hours because you wanted to see the factory in action. Walking through a Chinese factory could be very revealing of the supplier's quality system and capacity. To be honest, if you have the supplier audit checklist included in the Power Sourcing toolset, it will make it so much easier for you when you are walking through the factory. You will know exactly what to look for and what questions to ask for. If you don't have the supplier audit checklist, please pay special attention to their equipment. Check out their equipment capability and check out their processing steps. Look at their production line setup and how each production step is being set up, and that determines a factory's efficiency. And try to ask your sales contact to give you a specific example to show you how the quality is being controlled in that factory. After the meeting in the office and the factory tour, you will probably get an idea if this supplier would be a good business partner for you. So if they are a good potential to be your business partner, there will be step number 4, which is lunch. If the supplier invites you to lunch, you should definitely say yes. If they don't invite you to lunch, you can invite them if this is your first time visiting. The purpose of the lunch is to get to know your supplier as much as possible outside of the business setting. This is especially important if you think this supplier could be an important business partner for you. So I hope this 3-part Chinese supplier visit videos gave you some practical tips to help you plan a good trip. No matter what, my friend, you're going to be okay. This trip is going to give you so much insights into Chinese culture and their business practice. Even for me, every time I visit a factory, I still learn a lot. If you're really thinking about planning a trip to China, comment in the video, or you can post in Sourcing Warriors Facebook group. I would love to hear from you. Until the next video, have an amazing day. I'll see you soon.